If you asked me what my favorite scary movie of all time is, I wouldn't even hesitate. I would tell you John Carpenter's The Thing. The worn down and eerie feel of Outpost 31, along with the isolated landscape of Antarctica, both work together real well to create the sense that the men of Outpost 31 are on their own against this entity they know nothing about. There's also the awesome special effects that, even by today's standards, still look fantastic. The two elements that stand out the most and what I think make The Thing an all-time classic are the mystery and the paranoia that surrounds this movie. It's a constant guessing game about who's been infected or when they were. There's a lot of disagreement amongst the crew, a lot of confrontation takes place, nobody trusts anyone, and both of these factors combined really create for a neat dynamic that we just didn't see at the time. And even today, it still hasn't been replicated at the level The Thing pulled it off at, which just shows you how well executed this movie is. Fast forward to the year 2002, 20 years after the movie's release, fans of the movie are treated to a video game sequel developed by Computer Artworks. In this adaptation, they try to capture the magic of what made the movie so special, achieving this to mixed results. Computer Artworks had a lot of ambitious ideas for this game, and unfortunately I feel the project just fell victim to the limited technology of its time. The developers simply just didn't have the resources to bring their vision to life the way they had intended, and because of this, the game had a lot of mechanics that felt half-baked or unfinished, such as the trust and fear system. The biggest complaint with the trust and fear system is the fact that it's too easy to earn your men's trust. Simply just by giving them a weapon is usually enough outside of some scripted events. It feels like you really don't have to earn it, which leads the system to feel underwhelming and underdeveloped. The infection system is also an unfortunate victim. The infected individuals and burst out scenes are scripted and predictable, which takes away from the element of surprise and paranoia that it was trying to create. Because of these two things and the fact that the game becomes a shooting gallery on the second half, it all made for just a fairly average title that people quickly forgot about. Unfortunately, it slipped away into obscurity and was never heard from again. I've never been more happy to be wrong in my life. Despite all the flaws that I pointed out, the game is thoroughly fun, and a lot of people, including myself, enjoy it for what it was. It was a unique experience that even today I still go back and play every now and then, and although I feel the game would have benefited more so from a ground-up remake as opposed to a remaster, it's just nice that this franchise is getting its second shot in the spotlight it so badly deserves. So in order to choose the difficulty in this game, you have to go under the options tab and then the gameplay tab, and you can change it from there, which is a bit of an odd design choice in my opinion.
Larsen! Larsen! Oh, 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 wake up!
Oh, herregud, hjelp meg! Hjelp meg!
Nightdive Studio did a lot of changes from the original in this remaster, and at the end of the video I'll show you guys a lot of those differences and Easter eggs that I found.
Blake, it's Whitley. What's the situation?
Not good.
What do you see?
Not a goddamn thing in this storm.
Have you found anything?
Well, your transmitter's down and everything else is foobar.
What do you mean?
The base is gone, Colonel. It looks like massive explosives damage. Any clues here are gonna be like finding a needle in a haystack.
Understood. Do a recon, see if you can find anything that'll give us an idea what happened. I can try to get the chopper back to you within an hour, but visibility's falling fast and the report for your area is not very good.
Okay. We'll make a sweep and report back.
Roger. Meanwhile, I'll check up on Alpha Team. Oh, Blake, just remember it's 40 below out there. We both know exposure could sneak up on you. Keep your team together and get them to shelter as quickly as you can.
Roger that. Blake out.
40 below and he's not even wearing a hat. So one thing you'll notice I do here is I get rid of all these flares, and this is just to avoid clutter in my inventory. You really don't need the flares.
Blake, you need anything repaired or even a simple bypass, and I'm your man.
If any of you take on any damage, get back to me ASAP, and I'll help you out. I'm not carrying any dead bodies back.
I'm locked, loaded, and ready to make shit dead.
So the room that I fixed this junction box to has a computer in it that explodes if you get too close, but if you shoot it from a distance like right here, you don't get harmed by it. That blue bar that pops up on the bottom left of the screen, what that is that's the cold meter, and more or less that's how much time you have before the frost actually starts chipping away at your health. It's a neat mechanic, I think. Like, having an environmental hazard is a pretty neat idea. Unfortunately, it's a little bit... They could have worked on it more, I feel, though. As you can tell, the bar is wearing down real slow, so there's no sense of urgency with it or real danger.
What the hell?
What do you think it is, Captain?
I don't know and I don't care.
Looks like a goddamn UFO to me. This shit gives me the creeps.
Yeah, we're not alone in the universe and all that crap. Check it out and move on.
So in the movie, they actually blew that saucer up, so it doesn't really make sense that it's here, but it's a nice addition, though. It's a nice callback. Speaking of callbacks, arguably the most famous one from the movie is coming up.
I'm gonna hide this tape when I'm finished. If none of us make it, at least there'll be some kind of a record. The storm's been hitting us pretty hard now for 48 hours. We still have nothing to go on. One other thing. I think it rips through your clothes when it takes you over. Windows found some shredded long johns, but the name tag was missing. They could be anybody's. We're all very tired. There's nothing else I can do. Just wait. R.J. McCready, helicopter pilot, U.S. Outpost North 31.
Area looks secure.
This is Pierce. Come in. Do you read me? Over. I need help. Do you read me? Over.
That blown up shed I was just looking at, that's actually the shed that the team locked up Blair in after he went crazy. The next room we're heading into is the medical lab, and they added a lot of Easter eggs into this one, including an answer to a certain character's fate that was left a little ambiguous in the film. One thing that contradicts a huge plot point in the movie is we're going to pick up this document that basically says the thing can imitate everything, including clothing, which is very contradicting to McCready's statement of, one more thing, I think it rips through your clothing when it takes you over. Coming up in just a moment, we have arguably the biggest Easter egg that Nightdive Studio did in this remaster.
Ah, Christ, what is that?
Chill out. Everybody keep tight till we figure out what's going on.
So that's actually Null's from the movie, and his death wasn't shown on screen. It's assumed that he most likely died by the Blair simulation, but I thought it was cool that Nightdive Studio actually gave him like a conclusion. You ever wonder what happened to Childs and McCready? Well, we're gonna find out. Well, to one of them anyways.
Whitley, this is Blake.
What have you got?
One body, identification says Childs, no survivors. And what appears to be a...
One body? And what?
in some kind of unidentified craft. It looks... well, like a UFO. Colonel? Colonel!
Roger. I'll have a chopper there ASAP. There's a supply crate that was dropped earlier near the base. It contains C4 charges. I want you to rig all the remaining buildings and I'll remote detonate them from here.
Affirmative. I'll contact you when we're finished.
Right off the bat here, I'm gonna go take my team's weapons just so I can use them in the next level. We don't do any combat in this mission. You'll notice when I took North's weapon, all the symbols around him suddenly got an X on them. That means I can't command him anymore. The reason I can't command him anymore is because his trust fell too low. The trust is represented by that yellow bar, the one that's right below his face and right above the red health meter. There's three main phases to the trust and fear system. There's the trust phase, which is represented by green. In that phase, they'll follow you around and you can give them orders. And then there's the don't trust phase, which is represented by the yellow that we saw earlier. And in that one, you can't give them orders and they will not follow you around. And then there's the hostile phase, which is represented by red. And in that phase, they flat out think you're an enemy, so they'll usually attack you. Now that we're done planning the C4, we're going to go ahead and rendezvous with the rest of our team, and then we're going to get dropped off at the Norwegian base. Well, I shouldn't say we, more like myself.
Colonel, we've completed the explosives placement. Standing by for evac. Anything from Alpha Team?
Negative. Could be the storm.
Must be. I've been getting partial transmissions for the last hour or so. I'm going to assemble my team. When the chopper arrives, I'll have it drop me at Alpha's rendezvous.
Negative. You have your orders, Captain. Don't put this mission in jeopardy.
I understand, Colonel, but I don't have much choice. Pierce's team is in trouble. Besides, if there are any survivors, I'm the only one on the team that speaks Norwegian. Blake out.
Blake, do you read me?
Roger, Colonel. This is Blake.
Have you found anyone yet?
Nothing yet. I just arrived. The storm is worsening. May take a while to find anything.
Looks like that little stunt of yours might pay off.
I don't understand, Colonel.
I received a partial transmission from Pierce. He's found something. Might be research. Find him and get back to me ASAP.
Affirmative. Did he say if there were any hostiles in the area?
Negative. No hostiles.
Okay, I'm on it. Blake out.
Like Outpost 31, Nightdive Studio added in a few extra elements from the movie into this game, and I'll point them out again at the end of the video.
Fresh flare.
We're going to repair a junction box up here, and that's going to let us into the radio room that we saw in the movie at the Norwegian base.
Identify yourself.
Captain, it's Carter. Christ, where's everybody?
What happened here?
Something. I don't know what they were, but they attacked us. I thought they was part of the... Wait a minute. Don't you come any closer. Where the hell did you come from anyways?
A chopper brought me in. From the U.S. Research Station, 5 clicks south of here.
I'm hurt pretty bad.
Don't move, I'll see what I can do.
We're going to go ahead and heal Carter up here, and then we're going to go ahead and give him a weapon. This will bring his trust into green, so he'll follow us around.
Messed up.
So that's actually supposed to be Collins from the 2011 prequel. The prequel gets a lot of hate, and I completely understand why. It's definitely inferior to John Carpenter's movie, but I thought it was an alright watch. I recommend watching it at least once. We're going to use this camera system right here to look on the white chalkboard for the code.
Oh, there it is.
This will give us access to that room that we just looked into.
Blake, where'd you come from?
I received some partial transmissions from Pierce. It sounded like there was a problem.
Shit, you got that right. We got ambushed by these things. I don't know where they came from, man. Everybody lost it. The squad split up.
Have you talked to Pierce?
I got part of a radio message from him. He said he was at the north section of the base. He was talking some medical mumbo shit. He said he wanted to talk to the colonel.
The colonel hasn't contacted you?
Man, I haven't heard shit from anyone.
Let me try my radio. Blake to Colonel Whitley, do you read? Blake to Colonel Whitley, urgent. Alright, let's head north and get Pierce.
Cruz, unlike Carter, will follow us regardless if he has a weapon or not, although I definitely recommend giving him one because the ally NPCs in this game are actually revamped from the original release. It's pretty self-explanatory, but some junction boxes do require the engineers to fix them, like the one that I checked over in that corner. So I'm sending Carter over there to go and fix it through the squad commands. He's kind of taking his sweet time. He decided to go around the ice block for some reason, so I'm just giving him a little boost. That junction box turns off the power to an electric fence so we can move on to the next mission. Giving Cruz a weapon too.
Okay.
All right.
So we're actually going to have our first combat scenario up here, and we're going to keep our allies close because, like I said, they actually do help us in this game. Carter was just chilling in the back the whole time. He was letting Cruz do the work. I suppose that's why he is a soldier class, though. How that fire started remains a mystery to me. This is going to be the first level, and actually I believe the last, where we actually need to test ourselves to prove to one of our teammates that we're not a thing in order to gain their trust. Very underused feature that I feel should have been implemented more.
Okay.
Another junction box where we need the engineer.
Can't stand much more of this. All right.
Hold it.
Pierce, it's Blake. It's okay. Put your weapon down.
No way. You're infected just like all the others.
I'm not.
Your word ain't shit, Captain. I found a report that says the only way to prove you're not one of those things is through a blood test. Now, there's a medical kit near the kennel. You go get it and come back here, and I'll watch you do the test.
So I'm going to go ahead and grab the key to the dog kennel here, and that's where we're going to find the blood testing kits. Why they keep them in the dog kennel, I have no idea. Maybe it's just like if they were trying to hide them so the assimilations wouldn't get them. I mean, it is a pretty good hiding spot if you think about it. That is the last place I think anyone would think to look for them. Make sure you bring Carter and Cruz into the kennel with you because they'll wipe out all the creatures that try to attack you. And make sure you do grab all 3 blood testing kits, otherwise you'll have to run back here and grab the last one.
You got the kit? Good. The report said the hypo contains a chemical that reacts with blood. Do it. We'll soon know, one way or another.
Now I'm gonna show you what I already know.
You can just run up to one of your teammates and he'll automatically use the blood testing kit, like right here.
Maybe you will get us out of this.
In order to destroy one of the larger simulations, you need to weaken them up with bullets first, and then use some sort of flame weaponry to finish them off. What I just grabbed right there is ammo for the flamethrower. When your teammates die or do a burst out animation, they'll drop the weapons that they're holding. Like right there, I picked up the handgun and machine gun that they were both holding.
Pierce! Pierce!
God damn it. Pierce must have got lost behind me somewhere.
Pace! What the hell are you doing?
Blake, is that you? Oh man, am I glad to see you.
Yeah, it's me, you jackass. Now let's get inside.
What the hell happened?
Look, man, me and Williams were tracking this weird animal through the base, and we lost him in the storm, and then we ran into a Swede.
Norwegian.
Yeah, the Norwegian guy. Well, he started shouting and attacking me, and I started chasing him, and I lost him in the storm.
What about Williams?
I lost him too.
Christ.
I think Pace is the best NPC in this game. He has a lot of funny dialogue. So over here, there's some grenades I stock up on. And right off to the left, you can see a torch there, aka a flashlight. I don't really bother with it, though. I don't think it's that useful. And I'm trying, like I said before, I'm trying to avoid clutter in my inventory. Up here, there's going to be a vent right above the junction box that we need to go to. And as you can tell, I shoot it. And what that does is that keeps the smaller things from jumping out of it and attacking us. There's going to be a lot of vents that I shoot throughout the game, and it's for that exact reason.
We got some company.
A real common strategy that I'm going to use throughout this playthrough is when the enemies spawn, I'll take a few steps back and lead them into more or less like a bottleneck, so it's easy to gun them down as they run through it. This is when the game starts really picking up on the action. That box we're going to need Pace to fix.
All right. Okay.
If we go down this hallway, we'll get a glimpse at a new enemy type we're going to encounter here in just a few minutes. This one's actually called the Walker, and it's the one that we saw at the beginning of the game that attacked those two Norwegian guys. These first few levels honestly do a really good job with the atmosphere and the build-up. I so badly wish the game would have kept to this formula right here, because these first few levels are awesome.
Stay the hell away from me, I'm warning you.
Williams, I need your help.
Bullshit. You're infected just like the rest. Come any closer and I'll fry your ass.
Listen, I found Pace. I just need to get into the comm room to call for assistance. Do you have access?
Yeah, I've got access. But I ain't going nowhere with all those things out there. You kill them and I'll help get us out of here.
Right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and grab this flamethrower that's in this gun case, and then we also need to kill a few walkers like the one we saw just a few minutes ago. More or less, it's just the same game plan, just weaken them up with gunfire and then finish them off with flames. Now, when you do kill them, little things will burst out of them, like right there. There's usually 2 or 3 of them, so make sure you're on your guard. I bring Pace along with me because he's good at covering your back from all the little monsters that like to sneak up on you, like right there. As soon as you clear these ones out, be ready because there's going to be another walker that busts through this next door.
Okay. Yes, sir.
If you avoid going to the right there, you can avoid a battle with a few of the smaller things. And right here is where the last walker is. This is where we pick up the shotgun, which is super effective in this game. Definitely grab it when you get the chance. Now that all the walkers are taken care of, we can go ahead and return to Williams, and he'll open up the radio room for us.
Well, the area's secure now. I need your help. If we're gonna make it out of here alive, you've got to get me in the comm room now.
Yes, sir. Follow me, Captain. Maybe you will get us out of this. Oh, we're gonna die here. All right, I'm okay.
When we use this radio, we're going to get swarmed by monsters after we get done using it, and it's easy to get trapped in this room and get overwhelmed by them. So right off the bat, I'm actually going to run right out past the pool table and into the back rooms where we killed those last few walkers.
Doesn't look good.
Again, the reason I did this is so we didn't get overwhelmed in the communications room. You'll notice I did the bottleneck thing again where I just had them run at me one at a time. The thing that's nice about the medics in this game is they have infinite health packs so they can just keep healing you.
We got company.
We got some company.
This next level goes off the rails with the action, and you'll see here in just a few minutes why. Right off the bat, we need to get the power to this building restored, so we're going to go ahead and go up and to the left, and we're going to go into this room right here. Once we go into this room, I'm going to tell Pace and Williams to stay behind, and then I'm going to open this door, and they'll take out the enemies that come running out. Then we're going to go ahead and inch our way in here. There's a tentacle monster right off to the right that we need to take out. There's actually 3 in here. That big fleshy pile that I shot at, that's actually where the scuttlers on the ground spawn, so it's important to take that out as quick as you can, and then you can take out the 2 tentacle monsters with ease. You can also use grenades to clear out this room, although I don't like using it because the splash damage is really unpredictable. A lot of times I end up taking more damage than I intend to if I use them, so I just prefer to clear it out with the shotgun.
What's wrong with you?
The shotgun in general in this game is really good, but it especially stands out in this level just because of the hordes of enemies we have to face here in a few minutes.
This area looks alright. We got some company.
This is actually a really easy level to cheese. You can literally just sit back and let Pace and Williams shoot 95% of the enemies. There might be a few stragglers that get by, and that's when you'll take them out. But for the most part, though, you can literally just sit back and more or less enjoy the fireworks. So once they get done clearing out one wave, there's going to be another wave that spawns in a different area, so we need to switch up the rooms.
We got company. All right.
What I'm doing here is I'm shutting these doors so they don't sneak up behind us. The next part, there's actually going to be 2 different waves of attack, so I'm going to hold off one room while William and Pace hold off the other.
Area looks secure.
We got some company.
Right, we finally get to have some fun. So now that we have a lull in the fighting, I'm going to go ahead and make sure Williams and Pace are stocked up on ammo. Luckily, there's an infinite supply of ammo in this room that we can help ourselves to.
We got some company.
That door that I looked at behind us, there's actually a wave attacking from that direction too, and that door is going to keep them piled up in there until we're ready to deal with them. I take this opportunity right here to go stock up on more ammo. Definitely stock up every chance you get, otherwise you're going to get caught with no ammo, and it's not pretty when it happens, trust me.
Yes, sir.
All right. I hate this place.
So have you heard the saying, like shooting fish in a barrel? That ammo that I just walked past, that's actually ammo for the blowtorch. You can actually see it on the bed over there. I don't really bother picking it up just because the blowtorch is more or less just a flamethrower, except not as good. So I don't really see the need to pick it up because we have plenty of ammo for the flamethrower. If you're running short on flamethrower ammo, I definitely recommend it though. It more or less, it just doesn't have the range the normal flamethrower does. But other than that, it works pretty much identical. So here, Williams and Pace are more or less just clearing out like whatever's left of that wave on that side. I believe there's a few stragglers that come around here and there, but that's really about it though. This level's about to wrap up here in a minute or two. I'll be honest, not one of my favorite levels of the game. I thought it was way too action-based, and it really took away from the awesome atmosphere that the first few levels built up. So now that we cleared out the smaller enemies, we're going to run into 2 more walkers, and these ones are different than the ones we saw in the last level. These are actually the brute walkers, and they're a little bit more humanoid in appearance, as you can tell. They run on 2 legs, and I locked Williams and Pace in that one room to keep them safe. They'll automatically teleport with us to the next level after this one ends. This level gives us a break from the constant action that we had in the last level. It goes back to the more exploration, atmospheric design of the first few. Unfortunately, too, it's the last level that more or less features like that Arctic research setting. After this one, the levels get more of an industrial look to them, which it works against the game, unfortunately. The thing is at its best when it offers levels that are more open-ended with a lot of things to explore. There's a lot of mystery in them too, which I think adds a lot to the atmosphere. The later levels become a little bit linear, and they're definitely more action-oriented, which is unfortunate. There's a few levels later on that are more open-ended, but it takes a more action approach, so taken away from the exploration and the mystery. Right off to the right, there's going to be a vent that I shoot, and I toss a grenade down there. There's a room right below us that has a bunch of gasoline barrels, and it's more or less going to light that room on fire, killing all the enemies in it. And then we're just going to chill out here for a while and wait for the fire to go out. Naturally, it just goes out after a while. Getting rid of the blood test kit, again, avoiding clutter. What we're going to find in here is a key that gets us into the other building we need to get into. It's the communications tower. You're going to see it right when we get outside. It's going to be directly across from us. Unfortunately, on a sad note, this is the last level we get to work with Williams and Pace, which really is too bad. They were my two favorite to work with. I thought they both had pretty quirky personalities. It's too bad we can't take them into the refinery with us. At least in the remaster, you can take these two with you basically through the entire level. In the original, they were both simulations, and Williams would actually bust out as one almost right off the bat, first few minutes. And then Pace, he would make it further. He'd make it roughly halfway through this building, and then he would turn into one also. I'll put him to work before we part ways, though. This next room we need to collect a key, and it's going to catch on fire. Luckily we can get out of there before we actually take any damage. In the original you actually had to use the fire extinguisher, but this one you can get out before it actually spreads, which is pretty nice. Right up these stairs, unfortunately this is where we have to part ways with these two. They're going to make the ultimate sacrifice. There's going to be a lot of enemies up here. I'm going to tell them to stay behind and they can hold them off while I slip by.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, it kind of goes in vain, as you'll see here in just a few minutes.
What the hell happened?
I'm not going anywhere. It's over.
What?
It got me. I can feel it.
I can get you help.
You know goddamn well there's only one option here.
No. No, I can't do that.
You don't have a choice.
Look, I won't let you die, asshole.
Come on. Can't handle it.
Come on, Pierce. This is crazy.
Like my dad always said, if you want a job done right, you gotta do it yourself.
So we're going to use the giant telescope to look at an Easter egg that's 100,000 years old. Right outside, there's going to be one of the brute walkers. I'm assuming it's probably the same one that killed Pace and Williams because its health is red. So at least they were able to do a lot of damage on it before they made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, boys. Coming up ahead, there's going to be two smaller enemies that run straight at us. Take them out, and as soon as you take them out, look right behind you because there's going to be two more behind you. So this corner specifically, sometimes you can't pass it the first try, so if that happens, do what I did, just back up and run through it again. I don't know if it's the game itself or if it's like a frame rate issue, but it was in the original also.
Please, someone, help me!
Alright, so let's go ahead and rescue that poor soul. We're going to take out the enemies right here, including this new enemy type called the Dog Beast. It has simulated a dog before it changed into what we see right here, and as you can tell, it runs on all fours. Basically, it attacks you just by charging straight at you. It's fairly easy to deal with, though. It's like the walkers, just soften them up with bullets and then finish them with flames.
Blake, you scared the shit out of me. What are you doing here?
Let's skip the song and dance. Pierce is dead. I just want to get the hell out of here.
I followed some guy in here thinking it was him. Then I got trapped in here by those things.
Was the guy from your team?
No. I yelled at him a bunch of times. He didn't even look back.
Could be the guy I was tailing. Any idea where he went?
I think he's downstairs somewhere.
Okay, let's track him down, and then see if we can get Whitley on the radio to chopper us out of here.
Collins doesn't stick around too long. We only need him for one junction box, and that's really about it.
Okay.
At the bottom of this hangar, there's going to be a huge firefight that ensues. There's going to be a lot of creatures, and what I do right off the bat is I shoot a few flame barrels, and what that does is that puts up a flame trail. That's going to buy us a little time. What it does is it helps us take out one of the bigger enemies right off the bat, so that way he's not swarming us with a bunch of small scuttlers. More or less, I kept them divided so we didn't have to deal with as many at once. We got done taking out all the bigger ones, but be aware there's going to be a lot of smaller ones still, so keep your guard up. Not so sure if that was an enemy or if Collins accidentally nicked me. Like I said, there's an absurd amount of enemies down here. Now that the room's finally cleared, I have Collins fix this crane right here. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Alright, so we're going to take a pathway up to the ceiling level. And when you're up here, really make sure you watch where you step because it's easy to fall off the sides. I don't know what it is, but I'm one of those people, like even when I'm playing video games, high places get me anxious. In here, we're going to grab a key that's going to give us access to the basement level. You can still hear Collins fighting off the enemies.
Okay.
Unfortunately, if you keep Collins around, he'll turn into a simulation in the boss fight that's ahead, so it's best to take him out now. For the boss fight up ahead, right at the start, it's easy for him to cheap shot you, and unfortunately there's no consistent way, I would say, to avoid it. It's either he's going to hit to the left or he's going to hit to the right. If he hits to the left, you can avoid it, but if it's to the right, though, you're going to take damage. Right off the bat here, go ahead and run right past him, take out the spawn pit right there, and then we're going to camp right behind this wall, and when he destroys this wall, just unload on him with the shotgun, and you should get a cutscene. That cutscene activates once you get his health down to orange, and once it's down to orange, go ahead and just use the flamethrower to finish him off. After you get done restocking some supplies, go ahead and fix this junction box up, and right past this door is going to be the end of the level. As soon as this cutscene's over, I'm going to go to the right and I'm going to shoot 2 vents. This is going to despawn the enemies. Well, not despawn, but keep them from spawning. And then make sure you go to the right, because if you go to the left, there's a dead body that a few scuttlers come out of. This computer right here you do have to access because it gives you your next objective. Then we're going to run over here and open up door number 4. The area up ahead, there's going to be quite a few smaller enemies. It's best to take them out because you do have to make your way back through a second time. So it's best to take them out so they don't bother you on the way back through. It's fairly easy to get lost in here, so make sure you follow the exact path I'm taking. Right around this corner, I'll shoot a vent to keep an enemy from spawning, and then right around this corner, there's going to be a brute walker, so use the shotgun. The shotgun will stop him dead in his tracks so he can't rush you, and then just flame him. The shotgun literally just eats away their health. What that did is it fixed the switch so we can open door number 1, and then we're just going to go right back out the exact same way we came. That's why I cleared out all the enemies, is because now this area is much easier. And then there's going to be another brute walker up here ahead, and you can literally just run right past him. He's super easy to avoid. He's busy spawning basically other little scuttlers. That's what he was more or less sticking his tongue out for. Again, avoid the side with the body to avoid more enemies. Just go ahead and ignore him. This next area has 2 brute walkers. You want to try to isolate one and take it out as quick as you can before the other goes to his aid, because it's easy to get overwhelmed by them if they're together. Like right here, I'm trying to take him out as quick as I can using the shotgun because it does a lot of damage, and here comes the other one. Had I been a little bit too late, he would have snuck up behind me and they probably would have overwhelmed me. The scuttlers on the ground that spit that green goo at you, it doesn't do any damage, luckily. There's always going to be one that spawns from that vent regardless if you shoot it, and then there's going to be a few more that come up the stairs. We're going to have to hit some switches up here that open up some of the chambers we need to get to find Faraday. The best sequence for it is 2, 3, 6, 8, and 9. What this does is this gives you the least resistance in getting the Faraday. These chambers are pretty small, so you definitely want to try to bottleneck your enemies as much as you can. There's going to be another simulation way ahead of us. Just go ahead and start gunning him down. He'll run at us, and by the time he gets to us, he'll be in the red, so he'll be easy to mow down with the flamethrower, as you can tell. And then just use the same strategy for this brute walker also. A lot of times he'll run away like he does there, and by the time he runs back, he'll be in the red, so again, just hit him with the flamethrower. And up ahead, we finally get to meet the legend himself, the whole reason this game even exists.
Dr. Faraday, I presume.
I don't think we've got time for formal introductions. Can you get us out of here?
Sure, Doc. Follow me. Oh, and keep your ass covered. I'd hate to see you get an unwanted suppository.
I'm sure a lot of you guys already know, but for those of you who don't, Dr. Faraday's likeness is actually based off John Carpenter himself, the man that directed the 1982 film. So despite being a medic class, Dr. Faraday is actually a pretty good shot. Further proving my point. This next area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the back hallway so that way we can avoid a bunch of the enemies. And really from here, it's just hightail it to the exit. This next part, there's a lot of tentacle monsters in the hallway, so you just want to sit at the entrance of this door and just shotgun them down. The shotgun is such a beast in this game, the range on it is insane.
What the hell?
Stand down, soldier. Good to see you, Doctor.
We need to talk.
All in good time. But first, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask for your weapons.
I'm not doing anything until I get some goddamn answers.
You're out of your league here, Blake.
So I guess this isn't my Medal of Honor ceremony, is it?
A little premature. Right now, we need to have you both tested.
What the hell are you talking about? I'm not infected. My men are dying out there. I've seen firsthand what this infection is capable of.
Oh, you have no idea what it can do.
You son of a bitch!
I thought you were smarter than that.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
It's just a tranquilizer, Faraday.
Do you have any idea what's going on out there?
I have a perfect idea.
Jesus, you've done it, haven't you?
There's so much I have to show you. I think you'll be impressed with the results. Pick up Sleeping Beauty and help escort the good doctor. He's had a long day.
Well, unfortunately, the first part of this walkthrough it's done. But fortunately, the extra content starts right now. Nightdive Studio has made remarks that they're fans of John Carpenter's film adaptation, and the extra work that they put into this remaster to connect the game with the movie's continuity really shows it. I'll be showing you guys a lot of those continuity fixes along with a lot of the Easter eggs that I found too that I thought were neat. Up first is the sign that indicates which station Outpost 31 is, along with the Stevie Says annotation right underneath it. The next one is in the radio room where Windows was trying to call for help. You'll notice the equipment that's in here is much more accurate to the one he was using. In the rec room, we have the arcade machines that were featured in its film counterpart. The biggest nod I would say in this room is that couch right back there in the corner. If you look at it, there's rope on it. This is the rope that MacReady used to tie everybody down in the rec room when he was doing the blood test. Directly next to the rec room is the room where the guys crashed the snowcat through at the end when they were blowing the base up. This was also in the original release. This is the helicopter that we see MacReady piloting. If you go into the shed where they locked up Blair, you can find the noose in the corner that he made for himself. The medical lab has a few, including the computer that Blair did the simulation on. The next one is actually right next to that one. This is the picture that Blair was looking at in the rec room. You guys have seen this one already, but it's probably the most important change that Nightdive Studio did. They replaced the original body with Knowles' body. In the original release, the body didn't really look like anybody from the movie, so replacing it with Knowles was a really good call. In the shack that you find Child's body in, if you go to the right, you can find the chessboard in the corner. This is a reference to the game MacReady was playing in the beginning of the movie where he ultimately unleashes his wrath. Like MacReady's helicopter, the Norwegian helicopter was also in the original release, but again, it's one that I feel is worth pointing out. It was famously blown up by one of its own pilots. If you take a closer look, you can find the cans of kerosene that MacReady found in the wreckage. The next few differences and Easter eggs that I'll show you guys take place at the Norwegian base. Right at the start, if you head left, you can find the burn pit in which MacReady and Copper found the split face assimilation. The next one is the bloody axe that's lodged in the communications door. Last but certainly not least is the man who took his own life in the communications room. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.